So once your fee bill is issued, the fee bill now is what you might want to call your immigration fee, the amount of money you need to pay. Now, this is part of the things you need to ask your agencies. Like I said in my previous video, this is part of the questions you need to ask them. Who pays? Am I the one who pay, or do you pay for me? And also, do I pay for my dependents? Do I pay for my spouse? Do I pay for my children? Or do you pay and then I reimburse you for paying for my spouse and my children? Hi, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Chinaza. I am a registered nurse here in the United States. Thank you so much for coming back on my channel. I really appreciate you dropping by. So if you haven't seen my last video, please go ahead and watch the video. I'm going to be linking that video in the description box. Make sure you see that video, okay? Thank you. Now let's dive into today's video. So today we're going to be talking about after your I-140 approval. What next? What happens next? What are you expecting? So once your I-140 has been approved, it takes a little while for your case to be transferred from the USCIS to the NVC. Okay, and this takes about 6 to 11 weeks for this particular case to happen. In my case was transferred within 3 weeks, which is very rare, and it happened for some people, but it's not common. So I don't want you to go ahead and start waiting after 3 weeks and you don't see it and you start panicking, because the thing about this immigration process is that your agency has little or zero power over it. So there is a lot of waiting involved. Lot and lot of waiting involved. Okay. So now once your case has been transferred, you will get a date. Okay, using that same receipt number that you use, you can always search out for when your case was transferred, and then you get a date. So it takes roughly about another 3 to 8 weeks for you to get your fee bill. So there is this thing known as, there's a way you track it on the USCIS website, on the government website. You track what case they are currently working on, what case they are currently opening a file for, which is what you're going to be looking out for, the cases that they are opening a file for. So once they put in, they usually do it for 1 week. So they do things like, for example, from October 30th to let's say November 6th, for example, just 1 week long. Usually 1 week long. These things, they come out every Tuesday. That's when it comes out. Every Tuesday evening around 5-6 p.m. Nigerian time. That's when a new one for each week comes out. So that way you're going to see which cases they are working on. So for example, if you see that they are working on the week range where they transferred your own case to the NVC, it means that the following week your agency should be receiving your fee bill. Some people's agency puts their own, like the candidate's email, and ask them to look out for it. But majority, 90% of the time, it is the agencies that receives this fee bill, and then they let you know. Okay, so what happens is that you can track it down, and then why it's good that you follow the process and you track it down is so that you're also aware, so that your own case would not be lost in a bunch of cases that they walk through. For example, when I was tracking mine down, when I saw mine was out, because once you see that they're working on yours, they usually send it out Thursday, Friday of that week, and then the following week, Monday, Tuesday, your agency should be able to have informed you. So when I saw that they were working on mine that week, I just gave my agency 1 week and I reached out to them and said, I think my fee bill is out, you should check. And the person who was representing me at the time, she reached out to their legal team and she checked, and true to my words, it was out. Okay, so that's why you need to know the time processes and how long they take, so you can also track it down by yourself as well. All right, so once your fee bill is issued, the fee bill now is what you might want to call your immigration fee, the amount of money you need to pay. Now this is part of the things you need to ask your agencies. Like I said in my previous video, this is part of the questions you need to ask them. Who pays? Am I the one who pay? Do you pay for me? And also, do I pay for my dependents? Do I pay for my spouse? Do I pay for my children? Or do you pay and then I reimburse you for paying for my spouse and my children? These are different questions. So, and this fee bill costs about $345 per person. Per person, not per family, not per application, per person. So, for example, if you're five in your family, that's you, your spouse, and your three children, you should be paying a total of $1,725. That is what you're going to be paying if you are a family of five. This is where it gets a little bit tricky. So, some agencies are going to want you to pay for your family, send them the money first before they go ahead and pay. Okay? While some people will want you to pay by yourself. While some people, like my agency, would pay for you and pay for your family, and then along the line, during the process, you pay them back. Or when you, sometimes this is not an option, but it could be an option. Sometimes they allow you come into the United States and then they deduct this money from your pay gradually. All right. I mean, when you're back in Nigeria, if I'm going to say from experience and sincerely, most times if you have the money, I think you should pay for your family. Some people always do, oh, when we come to the United States, we're going to find a way and we're going to pay it. True, you could find a way and you could pay it. But when they start this deduction, you might be like, why did I agree
Oh,
to
sorry,
this?
sorry,
Why
sorry.
did I
Don't
agree to
cry,
this? They're
don't
taking a
cry.
lot of money.
Don't cry. Do it.
You agree to it though. So no. Okay. So once your fee bill is paid, sometimes it takes about 2 days. But usually the average time is 1 week. Mine was processed within a day. They paid for it today. The next day, the portal was open for me to be able to do my DS260, which is the next thing I'm about to talk about. Once your payment has processed and has gone through and it's showing paid, you would see in the same link they're going to send to you. It is called the CEAC link. I think that's the name of the link. So that particular link is what is going to show you if your fee bill has been paid, is what is also going to show you all these things. And now, there is a particular, this is why you're waiting for your fee bill, because once your fee bill has been issued, they're going to give you an NVC receipt. They're going to give you a new number. So it's not going to be that LIN or SRC number that you had before, which was your receipt number for your I-140. That's not the number you're going to use to log on to this new website. Okay, so you need these numbers. All right, you need these particular numbers to be able to log on to this new one. So once you get those numbers after your fee bill is out and you pay for your fee bill and it's showing paid, the next thing you have to go ahead and do now is fill out your DS260. And you have to be very, 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 very meticulous when filling this out because of how important this thing is. Because once you filled it out and you've submitted, if you make any mistake, you cannot change it. Yes, you cannot change it. When I was filling my DS260, I went to a very quiet place. I had pen. I had my pen like this, and I was going through each questions. I was in this to each of the questions to make sure. And sometimes, if it's a question that I read, I don't understand, I'll read it out loud. I'll read it again. I'll read it again till I understand what they were asking me, and then I answer. Like I said, if you make a mistake, you can't change it. This is not your DS160 that you can change after one day or within 24 hours. Once you've submitted your DS260, DS260. So once you have done that, once you are filling that out, some agencies will tell you do not submit until they have their own people go through them. Me, I was very sure of what I was submitting because I mean, I read every questions like 5 times. Even when they say your name, I say, is it my first name or my median name or my surname? Which name are you asking me? You know, in what format do you want it? So I was reading these questions like meticulously. The way they created the DS260 is in such a way that you also have explanations. So they are explaining what they mean. They explain the questions that they are asking you. They have instructions beside it. Please read those instructions. Read them. And the questions are very lengthy. They will ask you questions like, where have you lived before, your former address you've lived in the last 10 to 15 years. I wrote the address that I was living when I was small. I remember that address. Even I had to call my dad at some point to ask them. They will ask you your parents' name. They will ask you where your parents were born. Yeah, yeah. I remember calling my mom to ask her where was she born, where did they give birth to her, and also asking my dad where did they give birth to him. You know, because I know where the both of them are from, but I didn't know where they gave birth to them. I knew, but I just wanted to be sure so I don't put in the wrong thing. They will also ask you, have you applied for any visa? So any visa you've applied for, please, this is your chance to put it in there. Whether you were granted or you were denied, please put it in there. The only place that I had gone to before I applied for the US visa was the UK when I went to run my NCLEX. That was the only place I've traveled to. That was the first time I traveled in my life. Coming to the US is the second time I've traveled. Anyway, so moving on. You have to put all these things in there. Please do not lie. And then towards the end, they're going to ask questions like, do you have HIV? Do you have TB? Do not lie. Please put it in there. All these things, they are very private and very confidential. Why I'm saying put it in there is because during your interview, that is what your interviewer is going to be. You see, when they are behind the screen and they are just typing away, that is what they are looking at. Okay, that is what they are looking at. So you have to be very, very meticulous when you're putting in these things. And please do not lie. Like I said, do not lie. Please, for your own sake, don't lie. All right, and make sure that once you're done, you filed it, download it, email it to yourself, and email it to your agency as well. There's an option for you to email these things directly from the page, so that way you get it. It's in your my own DS260 confirmation page is still in my email as I'm talking to you right now. Yes, it is. I might even decide to attach it, or I might not. I might not. Anyway, so just make sure that you fill this thing meticulously, all right? Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate you for watching up to this point and watching to the end. Do make sure that you watch my previous videos and my next video. Share this video, like, subscribe, do all those YouTube shenanigans that you have to do. Thank you so much for doing them. All right, thank you so much for watching, and bye. See you in the next one.